Why is it that this community has done so well after a major catastrophe like Katrina? It's a much harder question to answer, but it's the one that I've been scratching my head over for the last year or so. To answer, disaster researchers haven't paid a lot of attention to immigrants, but they're very interested in how, in different rates of recovery among different populations. In other words, they're interested in why some communities might recover more quickly than others. And to try to explain this, they use this concept called resilience. The more resilient a community is, the more rapidly, the more fully they're going to recover. And we all have a sense of what resilience means. It means, you're able to kind of come back from some sort of a setback. But disaster researchers are very precise in their measurement of resilience, and they have very, very clear measures of it. So their measures of resilience is, I want to be able to read it right, in case you can't see the screen. Resilience is made up of measures of community competence, economic development, information communication, and social capital. But I've been really interested in immigrants, and so as I've been reading through the literature, I've been very surprised at the fact that disaster researchers don't really pay very much attention to culture. And since immigrants are going to have probably some characteristics there are some features of being an immigrant that's probably going to put them in a stronger position to recover after a disaster, different immigrant groups are going to have different cultural backgrounds. So I've been very surprised and a little disappointed that disaster research doesn't incorporate that into their models. So I decided to shove it in. So what I've been looking at recently is what features of culture might predispose some groups to recover more quickly and more completely from a natural disaster than others. There are things other than culture that gets mixed up with it. That's what I mean by the cultural confounders. But I think that the features of culture per se is going to be a bit more interesting. And so in the couple of minutes that I have left, I want to propose a few of those to you. I'm calling these features of culture that I think might have helped the Vietnamese in the post-Katrina environment as cultural abutments, because I think of them as features of culture that help to support a group as they're moving through their disaster recovery. The first one I'm calling collective consciousness, a way of thinking that kind of binds everybody together. And by that I mean things like a shared history, much of which we heard about today. A lot of the history of this particular group is a history of overcoming adversity, of doing it together as a group, and also, this is very important, having a common narrative, a story that's shared about these triumphs over these setbacks. And the narrative for this community is just remarkable. And again, we've heard lots of different features of it today. The move in 1954 from the north to the south and how disruptive that was. All the turmoil of 1975 when they had to come over and reestablish themselves in America, and also the fact that not only you and your elders survived these turmoils, but also thrived afterwards. I think it's just a really compelling narrative that kind of gives everybody kind of a sense that we're a group with a common